Cool. Thanks, Tony. Thank you for joining me for lunchtime coaching today. Guys, today we're chatting to Tony. Is it Tony Dovale, right? I'm saying it correctly.
Yeah, Dovale, yeah.
Dovale. And Tony is a coach and mentor. I have his whole CV here. A speaker, an author, an entrepreneur, facilitator, is one of the most inspiring and transforming expert coaches available. Tony, you've also been doing it for, I don't know, a couple of years, right?
45 and a few.
45 and a few.
Yeah. I'm an old buddy, what can I say? It's like, I was doing the video for ICMI this morning, and I started coaching when I was basically 15 in Boy Scout, coaching my patrol. So that's where I started from.
That's amazing. I like the amount of history that goes with it, the amount of storytelling that you could share could be quite the in-depth storytelling moment.
And I think I'm blessed because I do what I love. I love what I do, and it's important in adding value to bringing out the fullest of our human potential. And as you're talking about the stories, the story comes up about the Boy Scouts. I think I've always been conscious a little bit more than the average, even more than my parents. I'm kind of here for a higher purpose. And I think in any environment, there's some kind of toxic level of competition or a need for significance. And I remember the patrol leaders, there was some kind of competitive spirit amongst the patrol leaders. And I used to say to them, remember the days of soccer at school? If you and I were going to choose a team, you choose first and you choose the best and I choose the next best. And we keep on choosing the next best until you got the last one or two that nobody wants.
Yeah.
And I used to say to them, you guys choose whoever you want and leave me who you don't want. And those are the oaks that we used to cohese, we used to build. I mean, I had the Kohler brothers, I remember now. We used to walk miles. These guys would walk into the camp, put their bags down and walk out to go and help the other guys. And and I'm proud of that because, I've never been married, have no children. Humanity is my children. And that's how I live. It's to bring out the biggest, most bright part of you possible. And watching that, when those people were pushed aside, nobody wanted them, and how we built that patrol and we succeeded because they gave their very best. They were committed to bring out their very best. And that's always been my passion for the work that I do right now. So yeah, there are lots of stories.
That's it's amazing. I think it's, when you listen to stories like that, I think there's so many people in the world who wished that someone would do that for them. And the fact that you did it, speaks volumes.
I think I know it's very hard to do personal transformation on your own. I've been involved in this work for most of my life. I needed the work. I needed to fix me. I had a very tough dad who used to say, you'll never be good enough. You're useless. You're stupid. So not the ideal parenting model that I would suggest today. Yeah. But the gift was, and the gift is, that based on that behavior, I then said, I'm going to prove you wrong. And so in whatever I do, I bring out my best. I push. I don't enter a race to come second is my life's philosophy. And there's always a way is my other philosophy. So for me, the blessing of the work that I do, even when I started the radio station, I started the community radio stations because I wanted to impact bunches of people, not just one at a time. And it's the group energy that enables us to create those shifts to the next level of possibility. And that's my soul food. Money, I promise you, being of service to humanity, being of service to another soul, another being, to create a context and a possibility and believe in them more than they often believe in themselves. I understand parents now. I really understand what it's like to have children and to be so proud of them. And that's my drug, is that to see the person, to see the lights go on and then move faster and bigger and better and stronger. And then they bring out the ripples in the world themselves. So, and it's that pay it forward process.
That's amazing. I think when I speak to Doc Emmanuel, he also, he has a very beautiful way of telling stories, and I get so engulfed in in just listening. But I'm looking at the website coachfree.com. Tell us more about what that is, Tony.
because so I'm a techie. My background is computer programming, COBOL, RPG, before PCs, before the days of MS-DOS. So I'm a left brain techie that's learned and is driven more by a right brain heart center process. So I have lots of websites. Coach Free is one that I set up to do free coaching on mindset and wealth, because money is oxygen for people. If you don't have resources, you die. And so Coach Free is one of them. My other one is Life Masters, which is my main core focus and business, because Toastmasters is where you go to learn to become proficient at speaking. Life Masters is giving you the tools, the tribe, the family, the context, and the resources to have the best, fullest potential of your life. And then I have my other ones, my speaking, Tony Dovale Speaks, and my 1 Minute Wisdom, and all my little lines in the water that I'm looking to put out my information. But, you know, the digital world has given us an incredible opportunity to take what's in here and put it into a context like you're doing with this coaching and being of service and adding value, that it's immortalized. This information is going to be available for the next 100 years.
Yeah.
And that was, I was with a new friend of mine. We were with her mom yesterday. Her mom's dying of cancer and on chemotherapy. And I was talking to the dad, and I'm saying, you know, I've always believed the real loss is when someone dies, we lose that wisdom, we lose that knowledge, we lose all of that experience. It just goes with them. I've always believed we can put on a headset and store that somewhere digitally, multidimensionally, and that you can come along like the Matrix and press the button and say, I want to bring more love or bring more consciousness or more compassion. And I think that's what the world is about. For me, my drive is raise consciousness to bring more kindness, care, and compassion and consideration to humanity. So, you know, whatever tools I've got available, I'm going to put them out there. And it's cheap. You know, you can duplicate digital content for nothing. It's such an, the exponential potential is amazing. And I love that.
So tell us, you know, this is called Lunchtime Coaching, and the aim is to really leave people with some really valuable information, something that they can take away with that afternoon, for the afternoon, and just go and sit down, think, and have a cup of coffee, and be inspired by some information. What would you do? You know, considering that we're, I'm avoiding that word because, you know, everyone's stuck there right now, and so but considering where we are as human beings on the planet, what is that? What is this, some kind of inspiration and information that you could share with us that could really help people make the next step forward and move?
We are decision-making machines. We are biological computers with consciousness, but we have programs installed that are our default programs. You know, you have your automatic setting and reactive habitual behaviors. We make decisions very often based on fear and fear of loss or pain avoidance.
Yeah.
The big wake up is to understand that you can also make decisions based on love and peace and attraction and possibility. So as you're listening to this, as we're sitting here, I'm giving you a decision, I'm giving you a choice, creating the possibility within you, because we live so automatically, we're unconscious of a lot of things, like the feeling of your sock on your left foot has been unconscious until we talk about it. And so I'm saying the decision to make a new choice has been unconscious for many people. So here's the choice. Be a corona moaner and see this as bad, problem, victim, poor me, being done to me, or reframe as in NLP, reframe and say, wow, this has been done for me. What can I do differently? How do I wake up? How do I shake up? How do I make a course correction? And I used to work at executive cars when I was 20, 21, selling Ferraris, Lamborghinis, De Tomaso Panteras, the speed machines.
Yeah.
And my fastest was 320 k's an hour in a De Tomaso Pantera V8 blueprint twin turbo monster on the highway a long time ago, probably 43 years ago.
Sure.
But at that speed, the road is like a little pinpoint in front of you and nothing matters but looking and keeping the car on the road. And I think most people's lives are like that. We are pushing so hard for this money, survive more, be better, be stronger, be bigger, have, that you have to slow down and come into the pits and stop and reassess. And I used to be in the Navy. I did 3.5 years in the Navy when I was after school from 17 and a half, 18. And I used to drive Joburg to Cape Town in my little VW Beetle 1500, and being me what I'm me, set a goal, push, push, push.
Yeah.
And I used to get in the car in the morning at like 4 o'clock in Joburg, and in 16 hours I was in Cape Town in my little Beetle. I used to have fuel tanks, 25-liter tanks in the very back, and the little bucky inside the Beetle, if you remember the old VW.
Yeah.
And I used to have a very thick pipe, so while I stopped to have a bio break, I was putting fuel in. So I just pushed. So I'd look for a car in front of me and go, 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 and club past them, and look for the next car and go, go, go. And that's all I saw was the head, the tail lights or the exhaust of go, go, go. And one day in the middle of the Karoo somewhere, my car broke down. And it was lunchtime. We had a heating problem. And I stopped, and I couldn't solve the problem. And I was frustrated because now I'm broken down. And I let go and I fell asleep. And I woke up probably about an hour and a half later, and it was sunset. And the sky, I can still see the picture in my head. The sky was this beautiful reds and blues and oranges. And I looked at this and I thought, wow. And the little birdie, what I call source, my link to God, source, spirit, universe, said, Tony, stop chasing the destination because you are missing the journey. And that for me was a huge wake-up call, because I pushed for the end point and I saw nothing on the sides of the roads. And I think that's what this Corona situation is. We're pushing so hard to go where? No. And I wrote it down here. What really matters?
Yeah.
And so this is the pit stop. What really matters? Yes, this is a stress test for how you're living your life. Because if you're stuck now with no money, wake up, China Bean. You can't live. You know, often when we're doing coaching and I'm coaching people, I say to them, imagine the end of this month you stop earning. How long before you run out of money? Majority of people is, I've already run out. You know, there's always more months left at the end of the money. And that's an insane way to live. So this is, for me, this is a gift. This is a Corona pause gift, pit stop to say, what's important? How do I pivot? What do I want my future to look like? And my friend Jenny this morning, I'm saying this is Jenny 2.0. This has been done for you. The victims see it being done to you. So that's the shift for me. We know from our research that happiness is a choice. We have a set point. So Sonia Lubomirsky's work, we have a set point of happiness. But by waking up and becoming conscious and saying, hell, I'm grateful. Look, hey, I've got 10 fingers. I've got 2 eyes. I can walk. I can talk. I have resources around me. Maybe you don't have the Ferrari that you want or the wine and the champagne. But you know what? I've got stuff. People don't understand. Most of us that are going to listen to this are in the top 5 to 10% of quality of life on the planet.
Yeah. Food,
clothing, shelter, possibility, opportunity, resources. The problem is we are so programmed to look up to those who have more and look at that from jealousy point of view of I want more. And we forget to stop and pause and look down at the 6 billion or 6.5 billion underneath us who have got nothing, and be grateful and say, wow, I'm grateful. I'm not saying don't climb. I'm not saying don't strive. I'm saying look up and see that as a challenge, but look down and see that and be grateful and climb with gratitude versus climb with jealousy or I don't have, it's not fair. So happiness is an absolute decision to look at it and say, I'm blessed, I have opportunity, I have possibility. Now, what would I like my future to be? The problem is this reality is so seductive. We live 1/10 of a second behind reality. The brain is interpreting reality. It comes in, we assess it, we react to it. So we are living in the past. Everybody's living in the past unless you stop looking at the past and looking at what you don't want and create a vision of what is it that I do want? What would I like to have? What would I like to be? What would I like to do? What would I like to create? And I was just saying to my friend, I've been in this mindset business for my life. right from the beginning of days of Maxwell Maltz and psychocybernetics. Talking a long time ago, I used to do hypnosis in the toilet, and if I worked, I used to go every lunchtime and do a hypnosis session for me. I've been in this business and I've known about the tools, but I didn't use the tools for me.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where I've decided to say, why not play? Step out of the box and explore the possibility. And by creating, I mean, even in the Bible, they say, you know, speak like it's done, live with faith and gratitude like it is already achieved. Stop complaining about what isn't and what was, what could be. What's the vision of what you want tomorrow to look like? Because you can't change yesterday, you can't change tomorrow, but you can influence what tomorrow has the potential to be. If you twitchy, bitchy, whingy, whiny, you're not going to have a good tomorrow. It's not going to come in the sunshine, not come in the alcohol, the cigarettes, the government. Here's the machine. Here's the wizard. Change from this has been done to me to being done for me. This is not I'm a victim. It's unfair. This is a gift. How would I like to show up? How will I use my resources, my potential, my possibility? I've always done meditation, but I've done it, and I think many people do like things like prayer when they're, you know, Neil Donald Walsh says, God talks to everybody, but not everybody listens. And it's easy to say and hear, but to live that is the challenge. So most people are praying saying, God, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this. Versus if you stopped long enough and understand that that's not how the process works. We are connected to, or we are part of, my vision of you is you're a piece of source. Anybody who's watching, you're a piece of the most powerful force in the universe. But if you were in a partnership, if you and I were in business together, like Emmanuel and I, if you're in business together, would you have regular meetings and check-ins? How you're doing, what's happening, what needs to be done? Or would you just ignore your partner? You can ignore your partner, but that's not going to be a good business deal.
Yeah.
The more regularly you have meetings, what's happening, what are you looking to achieve, how you're going forward, how are you improving it? So I literally, in the morning, I have my meditation, which is not where I'm saying, give me stuff. I'm saying, allow me to understand how do I bring more value to the universe? What is it that you can see from a bigger picture as a partner that I don't see from my little picture here? And it's been I can tell you, in 3 days, I've had a profound shift in my context and possibility. I have a new woman in my life, literally, that I put out a challenge. I said, okay, I'm a tester. And I'm a left brain. If you say you this, prove it to me.
Yeah.
And I did this meditation and I had my morning meeting. And I said, okay, if you're so good, show me a new woman in my life. I promise you that night, because I'm on a few sites, that night I connected with somebody that I've been talking to for 3 years. And we went and had lunch and took her family for the chemo. But I had to look back and say, it's either chance or there's something bigger. And what's it going to cost you to believe in something bigger? Nothing. There's no loss. There's no downside of it. Yeah. And because you are something bigger. And when I do my potential workshops and I ask people, so on a scale of 0 to 100, how much of your potential are you using? And my average research score is between 60 and 70 or 80%. My belief and my experience, you're using less than 5. If you think you're pushing at 80 or 80%, you're not going to push. You don't have a much more place to push harder to unleash your potential. But if you're only doing 5, imagine what you can do from that point of view. And everybody that is sitting at home, that is listening here, you have to control this machine and say, here's what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing forward. I'm focusing on positive. I'm focusing on the bigger picture, what I'd like to create. You cannot attract happiness, health, wealth, well-being by bleating and bitching and pointing out the past. You can only manifest that looking at something in the future. So decide, are you a builder? Are you a breaker? Most people are unconscious. I often joke in my workshops, everybody brings happiness. Some bring happiness by coming into the room. Some bring happiness by leaving the room. Which one are you? Do you bring happiness when you come into the room, or do you bring happiness because you're departing because of your attitude and energy and how you show up?
Yeah.
We've all had tough times, but tough times build muscles. You know, you want bigger muscles? Go to the gym. You want bigger heart strength, compassion, kindness, love? Dance in the storm of life. So you have a choice to make. Done for me, done to me. And then know that you have unlimited potential. You can focus on happiness in an instant. You can drop your baggage and say, you know what? Done, gone, let go. Forgive, unwind. I'm worthy. I am valuable. And I did another thing. Because I make processes as I'm working. And so we're going to do an R&B dance. And the R&B dance is a good dance. What are the resentments and what are the blames that you're holding on to? Because that's the baggage that's keeping you from flying. And I joke, angels, you know why angels fly?
No.
Because they take themselves so lightly.
Yes.
Unhook the blame, unhook the shame, unhook the resentment. Come to now. In this moment now, you are perfect. You don't have to do anything, you have to be anything to be accepted, loved, and appreciated. But it starts in you to value you. Choose happiness. Get tools that help you dance in the storm. So resilience, I worked with Professor Stoltz, the guy that, you know, you've got IQ, which is your brain power, EQ, which is your heart power, and AQ, which is resilience, which is the tool set, the mindset, the viewpoint, and how do I thrive and flourish in tough times like we have now. So there are 4 areas where you build resilience. Number 1, focus on the stuff where you do have control, not on where you don't. So many people pick up bags that are not theirs, and they take the energy with them. If the bag is not yours and you have no control, let it go. 2, take ownership. Where you have control and you can take ownership to do something, embrace it, not as a blame or shame, but like stuff isn't exactly how I want it, I will do something. Be able to say, here's the thing, here's what I want it to look like, move towards that. 3, reach. I always tell the story of a guy who is on his way to work in a storm and he gets a flat and he climbs out of the car and he's screaming and kicking and bleating. Now in the rain, he's changing the tire and he gets it done and gets to work. So that's the problem. But now he gets to work and he doesn't stop. You know, as he's walking through the passage, he's like, I had a damn flat tire and I got wet and I got mud. And then he's on his WhatsApp to the wife or the friends, like, I got a flat tire. And then it's tea time or on the phone, you know, and he's just contaminating out these ripples of contamination out into the world. So contain it. Don't put the stuff out unless it's love, peace, abundance, and joy. Control, ownership, reach, and extent. How long? How long are you going to carry the bags? How long are you going to bleat about stuff? That's nebulous. My dad used to live in the past. He had a caravan shop, and when I used to go and visit him, it was always about the past. You know, in my day, this, and we did that, and they should have that. And eventually I said to him, Dad, I love you, but I'm not going to the past every day. We can't change it, and it's toxic. How long are you going to keep the baggage? The powerful people are the ones that say, Ena, wisdom, drop, next, let's go. You know, it's the pit stops. I don't know if you know, I love power and speed, but in the 1950s, a pit stop was like 2 minutes. Today, a pit stop is like 1.9 seconds. Yes. You got to show up in the world. And for me, this is the pit stop. Drop the baggage, drop the resentments, drop the blaming of yourself, of those around you. Stand back, take stock. What do I have? What do I love? What are my passions? What are my talents? What are my possibilities? What is the vision I can create? What does a future look like that I would love, that would be inspiring, exciting, contributing, adding value, being of service, creating a sustainable people, planet, and profit? Because that's, for me, is the balance, people, planet, and profit. And then how do you dance in the storm? You know, as I got older, I get crazier. And one of my fiance at the time, it was raining one day, and I got this thing in my head. Let's go and dance. Took off our clothes and I went and I danced in the rain because I'd never done it. Because, you know, we hide away from these things. Rain's not going to kill you. Yes, this COVID thing's dangerous. Understand if you have comorbidity issues and health issues and immune system compromised issues, be smart, be sharp. but focus on where the potential is, focus on where the possibility is, focus on where you can bring your energy, your knowledge and ability. And what you don't know, go and learn. You know, YouTube, this kind of stuff, if you don't know today, you can know it tomorrow. It's the people that can learn and adjust and be agile and response able versus fragile emotionally and mentally are the ones that are going to create this new world of possibility and light and love. And about, you know, for me, it's freedom and love, abundance, meaning, peace, and joy. Yeah, means goals are important, but the ends goals of feeling good, feeling happy, feeling valued and appreciated is the dance.
Tony, I mean, I could sit and listen to you for hours, and I know you can go on for hours. So one of the things I want to touch on is the ICMI, and that's, you know, essentially where we met. Tell us more about what the International Coaching and Mentoring Institute is all about. Why was it established, and what are we aiming to do there?
ICMI came about because I had this crazy doctor, this crazy gent at the time, Emmanuel Amebo, who said, please be my coach. And I thought, nah. And he said, please be my coach. And he was persistent enough until we met probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And we had our coaching relationship, and he was incredible. He was responsive, and he did the stuff. And he was the first kind of Nigerian guy that I looked at and I trusted, because I mean, I trust Emmanuel with my life and my soul.
Yeah.
And we grew into a friendship, and he said, I'm going to take you to Nigeria. And I thought, yeah. Many people say, few people do. And he phoned me up a few months later, and he said, passport, please, we're going. And I thought, unusual that a man says and does. You know, integrity matters in the world. And we did a 5-day workshop in Nigeria. We flew together, spent the time together, we flew back. We did some more work in London again for the Nigerian government. And we were talking because we both come from the same kind of mindset of, you know, Emmanuel's the structured academic, I'm the maverick push, create side of the things. So we have a perfect relationship in creating a home and a place for people to bring out their best potential. Emmanuel does church recovery, and he comes from the religious side, and he brings that whole positive, kind, caring love for humanity. I come from the craziness of being spiritual and exploring possibility and embracing all possible. You know, for me, I don't care what you believe, as long as you believe in something good and it gets you to bring the best power. And we started discussing, what do people need? What are we going to leave as a legacy? And part of my coaching with him was to write a book. And on our way to Nigeria, in the plane, he leant over and he brought out book 1, book 2. He brought out 6 books that he had written from our journey starting. And he then said to me, so where's yours? And I said, I've been threatening since I was 24 to write it, but it's coming. It's in final edit, literally right now it's in final edit. So it's taken me 35 or 40 years from threat to deliver. But we're looking at what is needed. If we're going to take ourselves and bring value that is sustainable and meaningful beyond just money. Now, money is the oxygen, but what are we going to grow? What are we going to do that's contributing to humanity, that is a meaningful use of our life, of our time? And for me, it's always been people. You know, business is an opportunity to give people a platform to grow and learn. And Emmanuel too, he comes from that viewpoint of uplifting humanity. And so the seed was planted when we were flying, and it just kind of grew and grew. And we spoke about it, and we stepped back, and we spoke about it, and we stepped back. And I have the vision of doing, and I was talking to him and saying, get a coach, learn to coach, be a coach. The multi-level marketing works like a dream, but you're paying 200 Rand for a tube of toothpaste so somebody can make money, and the guy at the end doesn't get value. And I said, I like the model of pay it forward, but it's got to be better. And so for me, the model, the process and the product is coaching. Get a coach for a reasonable, fair price.
Yeah.
Learn to coach from a system that is simple, structured, and significantly improves your capacity to add value to the world. And then become a coach where you can share it and pay it forward. And so that's from a personal point of view, but then business today. All professional people know. High-level performance. Coach helps you 10x your performance. It's hard on your own to be that sounding board and that mirror and see the blind spots.
Yeah.
So the structure and the intention of ICMI is to create a home and a platform and a tribe for people to come and get a coach, to come and become and learn to become a coach, and to come and do coaching. And that's the goal, is to have a network and a family of people that are trusted and trustworthy, that are competent and capable, that connect around the world to bring the best possibility in individual development, in team development, in leadership development, and change. And so we have 4 areas that we really offer. It's the coaching and mentoring component of where we'll do coaching and mentoring, whether it's NLP, leadership, executive, life coaching, team coaching, business coaching, career coaching, and then the mentoring component. But we also have the training component where you can come and learn to be an NLP coach, learn to be a business coach, learn to do the accredited coaching processes that are around in the world.
Yeah.
We have the facilitation, where my passion is the revolutionary workplace, high performance people, teams, leadership, culture, where we'll come to your organization, we'll take you away for a day or a week, and we'll work with you in an experiential action learning process to grow yourself, to become more conscious, to become more aware, to improve the relationships, to collaborate more, to communicate better, and to become a better leader, because leader is about doing and being a better leader. So we facilitate customized experiences in the revolutionary workplace processes, but supporting change management, conflict resolution, innovation processes. At the heart of it, our goal is to improve people performance and potential in individuals and organizations, add more value to support people, planet, and profit. Around the edges is the coaching, training, free facilitation, and consulting, assessments, strategic reviews, and things that help to improve the possibility of performance, increase engagement. Gallup shows that engagement levels are disastrous, and in South Africa they were even worse.
Yeah.
And we know that the artificial intelligence and machine learning is going to take away 50% of jobs in the next 5 to 10 years. That's a given. COVID's taking away 30 to 40% of jobs now.
Yeah.
That little pathway for humanity to add value and to be part of something is narrow. It's the soft skills, it's the mindsets, it's the resilience, it's the psychological capital, it's bringing out the best version of you. Coaches, managers becoming coaches and leaders rather than the old style of the command and control and conquer. So for me, we are the source of bringing the potential and possibility to the average man in the street. People charge, I've seen ungodly amounts of what people charge to learn to coach. We have a basic entry point that you can do a coach activator process and get involved, that you can start to learn to become that coach. You can take a coach that you can then understand the benefit of what a coach can do for you. And then you can start to add that as a service. Maybe you want to do it just as a service. I do quite a lot of stuff just because I like adding value to the world. And then there's the business component that you need to have the mindset, you need to have the expertise. If you're going to be on the dance floor, you must have danced before. You can't have a life coach trying to teach the CEO. So, getting people into their lane and being able, it's an adventure of bringing out the best version of you and being able to bring out the best version of those around you, your family, your people, your staff, because that's where the thrill of life is. Money is a cold lover. And another 2 zeros is truly not going to truly change your life and get you to sleep better necessarily, unless you're out of oxygen.
Yeah.
Being of service and having incredible tools to fast track that is the whole intention of ICMI.
So if I see that we are running out of time, but if people want to know more about who you are and more about the ICMI, tell us where we can get hold of you and the ICMI.
So ICMI is ic-mi.com. You can find us online and you can see all of our offerings that are there. We have a social connection website that you can register with us and get a whole lot of free information. For me, Tony Dovale, look up Life Masters, look up Revolutionary Workplace, but lifemasters.co.za. I'd love to be of service and value. And anybody listening here, I'm willing to give a 15,000 Rand value free high performance diagnostic that you can use in your organization to fast track and understand exactly where you are and the areas that need to be addressed. bless you, and I honor you for adding the value and being one of the action takers that bring this to the world. We need more people like you. Thank you, Kevin.
Fantastic. Tony, thank you so much for the time. Thank you for sharing. I think we're going to have more of these so I can just hear more stories of this. I'm going to show this everywhere, and thank you for joining us on Lunchtime Coaching. I'll share the link with you once it's up and running. And yeah, let's raise that consciousness. I think that's one of the key values that we share, is raise the consciousness and
bring more love.
Bring more love. Absolutely. Tony, thank you so much. I'll chat to you soon. Have a wonderful day.
Be safe, be healthy, and if you love somebody, show them. Thanks.
Thank you.